What is up, my family? I am back with another video. So you know what that means. I'm back with another banger. And today, you're watching Life with Darcy. I'm Darcy. What's up, though? All right, so let's talk about depression. As a person who has clinical depression, then this is not the right site for me to figure out more information on it. Either the videos are 8 years old, full of cartoons that's not really answering questions that I need, doctors talking about it, that all the jargon is going over my head. So to make sure I can help anyone else that's going through the same situation, this video, this one right here, is going to help you with all of that. We want to understand what depression is, how to overcome it, and how to help someone through it. Let's get straight to it. So first thing is understanding what depression is. So there's a difference between being depressed and having depression. Now, the difference is depressed is like situational. So let's say you have a wedding coming up and you have to pay for that and you have to make sure everything is going right for it, and then stuff start hitting the fan, the money's not coming through. So you may be depressed according to that situation. Being depressed is situational, but having depression is a constant feeling of loath, of sadness, of unworthiness, of not being wanted. So that one feeling that you have because of that situation that's being depressed, is that constant feeling throughout your time frame. Sometimes you may not know why you feel that way. It might be a great Saturday morning. You got plans to hang out with your friends. It's beautiful outside and you want to go out and do something. But when that Saturday morning comes around, you may have that feeling that you don't want to go out anywhere. You don't want to get out the bed. So you don't get out the bed. You may not even answer your phone, but you want to, but mentally, something is telling you that you shouldn't or you can't. So having depression and being depressed is two different things. Being depressed is situational. Having depression is continual. So now that you know the difference between being depressed and having depression, let's go ahead and start giving you tips to overcome your depression. So tip number one is understanding your triggers. Now you may ask, what is a trigger? Now a trigger is like signals that your brain gets. So if one situation happened, it signals your brain to feel one way. So for me, my triggers is being alone. If I'm alone for a long period of time, I start to become depressed because I don't like being alone. I need somebody to talk to, bounce ideas off of, somebody that's in the same room with me. So if you could just sit in the room with me, that's perfectly fine. But if I'm completely alone, man, it used to be a bad situation. So how do you identify triggers? You can identify your triggers by taking off some time and writing down the situations that you find around yourself when you actually have depression or when your depression arises. So for me, it took me about 2 or 3 weeks of constantly writing down when I was depressed, what was going on around me, or what was I thinking. And after you find a pattern, you can start relating that pattern to being a trigger for you. So take out some time to identify what's going on around you, write it down and identify a pattern. So now that you have your triggers, it's time to actually handle it. Either you can try to avoid your triggers or you can confront your triggers. Now for me, I like to confront my problems. I don't like to avoid it. I'm a confrontational type of person. If you haven't seen by none of my videos, I like interaction. I like confronting stuff. So this is how I confronted my triggers. So I did that by constantly telling myself the opposites of the thoughts that I was having. For me, if I was alone, my mind would tell me that I wasn't wanted, I didn't want to be, people didn't want to be around me, I was a bad person, and all these other thoughts that were coming into my head of why I'm alone. So what I needed to do was that I had to fight these thoughts with positive, more realistic thoughts. I had to realize that the thoughts going on in my head is truly not realistic. So I had to confront those thoughts with realistic thoughts. So except for me saying, I'm not wanted, I'm an unwanted person, people don't want to be around me, I would say people are busy. That right now is not a good time. They have some thoughts on their plate, or whatever the realistic reason may be. I'll tell myself that, so that way I have something to confront it. So I know it's not that I'm a bad person and people don't like me, people don't want to be around me, but it's just that right now they have other things that they have to take care of. So confront your thoughts with something more positive. Give your brain something positive to feed off of. Because depression, your brain gets a lot of negative food on a day-to-day basis. So once you give yourself some more positive food, your brain will have to choose between either one. And typically it goes with the positive side if you keep pushing on it. So tip number one is identifying your triggers. Tip number two was overcoming your triggers. So tip number three is to put yourself out there. Now what I mean, Usually with people who have depression, when you're in a depressive state, you want to be isolated. Typically don't want to be surrounded by other people. Either you may go to your room and close the door, you may stay in your house and close your windows or blinds or whatever the case may be. But usually when a depression state happens, you try to isolate yourself. This is one of the worst things to do. And if you're someone that's trying to help somebody with depression, this is a clear sign. But what you need to do is allow other people into your space because they can help bring you out. When you're depressed and you're by yourself, your thoughts can run wild. As a result, you may be trying to handle the situation by yourself. So make sure that you open up to other people in the situation. Then the last tip is to ask for help. Now I know it's not the easiest thing to do because you don't want people to know about your situation. They may judge you, they may look at you different, X, Y, and Z. But if they're your actual friends and family, then they're not going to judge you. But what they're going to do is to help you get through it, to help you endure and to try to take it away from you. So by telling people what you're going through, asking for help, it might be uncomfortable. I'm not gonna say might, it will be uncomfortable in the beginning. But as you're going through the process, you have a whole team of support that's behind you and it will help you move through it. So be open and talk to people and ask for that help. But this is the tips recap. 1, identify your triggers. 2, overcome your triggers by either avoiding them or confronting them. I say confront them. And if you want to confront them, use positive thinking to combat the negative thinking that you have. 3, make sure your actions follow. So if you're in a state of depression and you want to be isolated, do the exact opposite of it. Feed it positive thoughts, feed it positive actions. Positivity always confronts negativity. Positive always wins. Step 4 is to ask for help. This stuff may be overwhelming, and it is, first try. And you may be uncomfortable. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open myself up to you. So if you need some help, go ahead, leave a comment here. DM me on any of my social media, and I could be there. I'll be part of your support system. But ask your friends, ask your family, and ask professionals. Because the more people that's in your village, the better you're gonna be, the bigger your support system is. So take these 4 tips, apply them, and let me know what happens for you. And if you already have depression and you have different tips than what I have in the video, please put it in the comments below and let me know what you're doing to overcome your depression. And if you're helping someone through depression, be patient with them. Understand that this is something that you can't see. There's not a physical illness, this is a mental illness. So some days they may look okay on the outside, but inside they're not. So be patient, be understanding, and take it slow. So I hope that you got something from this video. I hope that you understand something more than what you did before, and I shed some light on some things. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you leave a comment below and like that video too, so we can help more people every day. And I'll talk to you later. Peace.